Hello, this is Criminal Takes with Criminal and
Yes,
Posnikov, and I got
sir.
it right
He
that
got my
time.
name right, guys.
There we go.
Hello, how are you?
I know. And today we're talking about our favorite romance mangas.
And
And
animes
so
as
I'm going to
well.
go through some of my and animes. Yes,
Don't
that's
forget
true.
that. Don't.
Yeah, the most important
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
Most of my fan base has never read a book in their entire life.
And I noticed
And
this as
so,
well with,
we need to appeal to the masses.
Yeah, like, guys, read books. Open a book. Come on, it's not that hard. No, anyways. Yep.
So I'm going to go through my favorites and I'm going to tell you why. And I have a lot of hot takes. And so I kind of wanted to hit you off the bat with maybe my hottest take of the day.
Go ahead, I'm ready, bro. I'm so ready right now.
Okay. In my opinion, Steins Gate is the greatest anime romance of all time.
Oh my god. Tell me you haven't watched any more than 100 animes without telling me that. Oh my god. I mean, this is obviously a criminal take, guys, because Steins Gate is actually
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say you're wrong, but I'll let you explain why.
Let me cook.
I'll let you cook, bro.
So
even if you burn
I
the
think
kitchen.
one of the things that the romance genre suffers from is being very tropey and sort of unoriginal in a lot of senses.
That's true.
And I think that when you have, this is a personal opinion. I think this outside of just, anime and manga, but just in general, I think that in general, romance is best mixed with other genres. Romance by itself is very hard to write. It works sometimes, and we'll talk about some of my shows that are just pure romances that I like the most. But a lot of times they tend to be very banal to me. I think Horimiya is a great example of this. I like Horimiya, but it's just okay. Like, it's good, it feels good, but I'm not blown away by the character writing or something like that. And you go through a lot of the same tropes, like you have to have what is it called? The field day or something where they're all competing. You have to have like those first dates. Steins Gate, because of the nature of it, their dynamic is really interesting because they're both super confident people and their romance is discovered through the outside forces.
Are they both super confident
are,
people? Do you actually think we're talking about?
Yes.
Who are we talking about? The two main characters, right? What's her name? Kurisu.
Yeah, so
red hair and
Kishibe and Kurisu.
Yeah, the red hair girl. Okay, but whatever.
Okabe.
Yeah, Okabe.
Yeah. Kurisu.
Yeah.
Or Christina.
Yeah.
Whatever you call
Do you
them.
think they are actually? To me, they aren't confident in themselves. They're pretty insecure, and I think that's something that's been shown many times. They're insecure about many things, and like I won't argue too much about that. But are you sure that confident is the right word to describe these two characters, or confident in what actually?
Or competent is more what I mean.
Oh,
like they're both.
Oh, okay, yeah. I heard confident. Did you say confident?
They're both good at stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'd say like they have an air of confidence and that their relationship is confrontational. I wouldn't say they're so confident that they're like brash or something like that, but they're semi-competent people that believe in their ability to achieve something, and so they're peers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in romance, we see people that aren't peers, and that often makes for bad romance because one is dominating the other, or one has to lower their level to the other, or find some hidden beauty in the other person.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
in
this,
in most romance stories, for example, it's from the POV of the guy, and the girl is just so nice, or sometimes she just relies on the guy, and the guy is, the savior type of shit, which I find it so tropey. I agree with you that when romance actually isn't only the sole genre of a story, it can become really interesting and nuanced because it doesn't have to follow any of these tropes. That I agree completely, but now can you actually tell me, in terms of Steins Gate, what I will say now is that I think that Steins Gate is actually just like an incel's wet dream, bro. Sometimes some things are just not believable at all. I just find that some aspects of the story, and by the way, this anime was based on the visual novel, which is basically a kind of game like Doki Doki, and it was. I'm not gonna lie, I will say that some aspects of it are just like fantasy of some guy that thought, yeah, I want a nerdy girlfriend that went on 4chan on Reddit. 2chan, the Japanese 4chan, basically. She's a bit of a nerd, she's, really cute and shit like that. And we have a character that go through development. Fair enough, the plot itself is interesting, but some aspect of the romance, to me, is extremely, like, it's sloppily written, for me, actually. And, like, I've read many romance stories, and in regard to that, I don't think that Steins Gate is a bad story. I don't think it's the best story. I think it's a really good story overall. But in terms of romance, I do find it kind of tropey.
Here's what I'll push back. I wouldn't call Kurisu like the nerdy girl that you want to fall in love with. Like there's two types of nerdy. There's like the I like Marvel type of nerdy, but she's like just a legit, scholar. And
that goes on 4chan and shit like that. She's kind of an incel. You gotta say she has all of the like each time they have all of these talks.
I mean, all of them are nerds. I don't know if they're incels.
No, I'm not saying they're
like,
all incels. I'm saying like the way the story has been put, like how
the vibes.
It just feels like an incel actually wrote his fantasy about how he would like the perfect like combinations of characters. I just don't really like it. Like my girl has to be a 2-channel, kind of shit.
I like that part about it never stuck out to me. Like I'm not on 4chan or anything like that, but like I just saw it kind of like more like Reddit. I don't know, like
4chan is Reddit, but worse. That part,
yeah, I tried to use 4chan one time and I got confused and scared and never went back.
I use it every day to actually read the trend because many translations of mangas are done by 4chan Anonymous. There are actually good communities on there. But some of the worst of the internet is, 4chan has some good aspects. Like, I don't post on it or anything, I just read the mangas, but some people are actually nice on it. But there are some of the worst people as well on 4chan. And it's much worse than Reddit, But yeah, I just feel like it's, kind of like, it is kind of tropey in the way that, the kind of nerdy girl that goes on 4chan.
There is some...
You do see what I mean.
You could fit it in that trope, but I think there is a lot more depth to it.
Yeah,
I don't think Kurisu is like defined by her being on a message
obviously
board.
Not,
like it's more of a plot point than it is like something that's like hindering her. And so the fact that she kind of aligns with a trope is not a huge deal to me, because the rest of her character is really sincere and like their dialogue between each other and the tension between them where they're both trying to achieve a goal, but obviously because they share like core competencies that are conflicting with each other, there's like a enemies and friends kind of thing going on, and there is like a really good tension there. And also you add on to that the stakes of like the story. Steins Gate is my first or second favorite anime of all time. Like I think it's just a fantastically written like thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a friend drama that's staged really absurdly in a sci-fi universe.
Yeah.
I think the stakes are really interesting, and I just, I love Kurisu as a character, and I love Okabe as a character.
What did you think of the sequel to Steins Gate? Did you watch it?
I have not watched it yet.
It's considered to be better than the first one. And
Steins Gate Zero, right?
Yeah. It's actually kind of like really depressing, but really well made as well. This one is really good as well, but you cannot watch it, right? It out. But you have to, kind of shit. It's like the same way as it's a visual novel. It's like what if ending, a what if ending, and it's really well made. There's also the movies that you should watch if you like it, or play the games.
I did watch the movie.
Yeah, the movie.
I didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
The movie broke the lore. The movie broke how the universe worked.
Yeah, I do agree.
And that frustrated me.
Yeah, but watch Zero. Zero is good.
So we disagree on this, because I think Steins Gate, let me say this. I think what defines a good romance is near peers that have some tension between them, and that tension is maintained in a way that's logical, that is eventually resolved in a logical way. Because sometimes a lot of animes maintain the tension by them just not wanting to express it or something like that.
Yeah.
But the tension is maintained in really logical ways in Steins Gates through time loops, where Okabe is learning about Kurisu, but Kurisu can't really learn about Okabe.
What I like is that they trust each other,
linear.
Even though they can't remember everything.
Yeah.
That's really well written. Yeah, I do agree that it is. What I said is that my point is that it's a well-written romance. It's a really well-written story overall. I really loved it. It's probably one of my favorite animes of all time. It got a really good rating on my anime list, by the way. It's maybe top 5 or top 10 or something like that. It's really high, so people agree with that being great. I also agree on the romance. It was for a long time my favorite romance. That's why maybe I'm a bit bitter today, because I've read more mangas. I've been a bit more critical about it, but it was probably one of my favorite romance back then, because Steins was one of the first animes I've really watched seriously, like from beginning to the end.
And
it was just wow.
And I feel like you're also nesting, like we have different experiences when it comes to like some of these tropes. And I feel like that's not necessarily good or bad. It just means I have like less experience with stories that deal with like the nerd girl in the like 4chan nerd. I haven't read stories like that. And so to me, it just came off as like a plot point that didn't stick out to me. But obviously for you, that's more of a thorn in your side. And I think that might be where a lot of the disconnect is on how much we like it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've read like my channel for a while has been really focused on romance manga. So I've been reading so many romance mangas that now I just like associate a trope to everything I see, and I just find everything repetitive. Maybe that's why I'm a bit more critical these days. But you know, I do agree with everything that you've
jaded.
said, and I think it's just that the sample size we're basing our thoughts on is not the same. So that's why I agree with everything you say, and even though I agree, I think that you're wrong, you know? Because
that's why it's a criminal take.
Yeah, that's why. But maybe this time I'll be the criminal here. We have to know at the end who's the criminal. We always need to know that now. Who had the most criminal takes? No, that's crazy. Okay, so that's what is it in your top 3, Steins? Is it in your top 3?
Yeah, so my top 3 right now are, let's just say no order.
Okay, but
is Steins Gate, Neon Genesis,
in
and
romance, in terms
Cowboy
of romance.
Bebop. Oh, not romance. Sorry,
you guys were doing romance. He actually got dementia. He forgot about what we was doing. Oh my god,
dude! If Neon Genesis is the best romance of all time, then that might be the worst take I've ever had, because it might be
worse
the worst
than Travis
romance
Scott
ever. Dude, okay, my next favorite as a romance, this might be better. So these are like my 1 and 2. Is Love is War, which I don't think is that controversial.
It's probably the best.
So I like to describe Love is War as like the romance version of Death Note.
That's yo, please explain.
Because she's like Light and he's like L, and they're both like trying to expose the other.
Shit.
And so they both know the other one kind of likes them, or at least very much suspect it, but they're trying to like get the other person to admit it through like crazy schemes. And like the comedy aspect that comes out of that is fantastic. And so Love is War, again, near peers who like have a tension that makes sense because their personalities like cause them to have so much pride that they can't admit it to each other. And so the tension maintains in a way that makes sense. And so also it just happens to be hilarious.
Yeah, it's really well written in terms of comedy.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite scenes is when they're both trying to search for advice. I'm not sure if you remember that. And the gloomy guy is telling the president about how the girl is totally in the wrong, who's like Kaguya. And he's going on like an incel rant about like women. Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah. But
that's
the
such
thing
a
you're talking
funny
about,
scene.
Is it only the anime though? Are you only talking about the anime?
I haven't read the manga. I've watched all of the anime and the movie.
And how far is I didn't watch the movies or know the anime, but how far is the anime?
So they had their first kiss.
Oh, the movie is the first kiss, right?
It's directly after.
Oh, okay, yeah, but
the movie's directly after, but they had like a Christmas party. Let me tell
you my take on this, because I finished the manga, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil it. And anyway,
no crazy spoilers.
Yeah, don't worry
okay,
about it.
But
don't worry. But Love is War becomes so it goes much more in the depth of the relationship between the two after that part that is animated. It goes really, really in depth. And it kind of actually goes into a more mature approach of the romance. I'm going to say that the beginning, it was really funny, comedic, and things like that. But it gets a bit more serious. Yeah. It gets a bit more developed after the kiss. And just after that, you get all of these elements about the characters. A lot of drama and a lot of progress as well. Huge progress that you're going to get just after. That's why I think Love is War after the kiss just becomes like a different manga. Like really, honestly, when I read it, I said, "What the hell is happening?" Everything is there's actually character development, bro. This is actually insane. Every character is actually well written in this manga. Though I maybe at the end of the manga, I won't spoil you too much, but it was kind of criticized that the end of the manga was kind of weird. Some of the last arcs felt a bit rushed. But in terms of romance, I think that if I go online on mangas rankings and everything, Love is War is maybe in the top 3 if it's not the first one. There's another one that's in first. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's called the fragrant flowers bloom with dignity. I don't know if you heard about that. It's like
I haven't heard of that.
It's one of, if not the best romance manga in terms of like development, in terms of art, in terms of all of these aspects are just so well written. There's a bit of drama. There's a lot of complexity in the relationships, and I think it kind of like, I'm on Manga Dex right now, which is like the website with all mangas, right? It's the number 1 ranked manga on the entire platform. So maybe you should read that one.
Really?
Yeah. And I honestly...
Okay, I'll put it on my next up.
I honestly think it's better than Love is War, to be honest. Because Love is War, what I think is kind of lacking, and what I've realized as well, I'm going to maybe go a bit off topic, but with Oshinoko as well, is that sometimes Aka Akasaka, the mangaka behind it, doesn't really... Like, he gets lost into some aspects of the plot, and he forgets to flesh out some of the other aspects. I can't explain it to you without spoiling, right? And he adds some drama that is so unnecessary sometimes, which I noticed in the latest, like the last arcs of Kaguya-sama, Love is War. I thought like
he's perpetuating a plot that doesn't need
and
to
you
be
realize that the manga kind of
Yeah.
became more popular than he expected sometimes, right? He wanted it, like, it looks like it was gonna end at some point. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And then you just add a final arc to the manga, and I'm like, it kind of ruins the things. It kind of ruins it. And do you want to know something? Do you know that the word of Oshinoko and Kaguya-sama are actually connected? Like the same word. Like it's the same like universe, kind of. It's like
I didn't know
Akasaka cinematic universe. It's actually because at some point, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but like Kaguya is actually taking pictures for Aqua because she became a photographer. That's actually crazy.
Really?
There's a.
That's interesting.
You should check it out, but that's just it.
Say no more, but I'll look forward to
But
it.
in terms of romance, it's pretty great. Yeah.
I have 2 more romances. I want you to choose which one we talk about.
I bet.
So both of them, one's more a strict romance and is critically acclaimed, and the other one is more of a family drama. So Spy Family and A Silent Voice are in my next kind of spots for like.
So I have to choose
romance.
in between which one I prefer the most.
Yeah.
Definitely A Silent Voice. Like not even an ounce of hesitation.
Really?
Like really, bro. Really. Like can I explain why you're
Silent
low-key?
Voice is a fantastic. Yeah, please go off.
I'm gonna be honest. Spy X Family is just it's a good, really good manga. It's a really good anime. The anime was wonderful as well. But to me, it just feels, it kind of feels like tropey. It really does sometimes. And I just feel like, the way it kind of balances, it's well written, it's really original and everything. But sometimes I just think like the mangaka, he wants to do dark stuff, right? There is a dark story behind Spy Family, right? There is like Yo is an assassin that had a shitty childhood. Lloyd was actually a child that was a child soldier or something like that. Even a volume at some point is him sitting on remains of a building, So it's kind of like it got these dark things, and in the manga as well, you got these really dark moments. But then I just find the comedic aspects of it just so goofy that it doesn't really make me kind of like tense the way I want to. I like being really tense when reading mangas, and the way Kaguya-sama balanced comedy and romance and being serious and having some slight drama as well, being mature, I think they did a much better job than Spy X Family. That's my opinion about it.
I think my criticism of that would be like, I think maybe a good example is like Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is pretty critically acclaimed. Like, there's a lot of dark stuff that happens in Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it's still a kid show, and it does a really good job of exploring those themes, but not getting so caught up in them that it derails everything.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And also having like a ton of goofy moments. I think Spy Family actually does a really good job of balancing those things. Like, it's not a dark, gritty, anything, but it does have those moments that add depth to the characters that actually make
sometimes it just sounds
the
so
relationship
goofy,
between
bro. Sometimes the
Lloyd.
character just seems so autistic, and I'm not even joking. Like, how have they not noticed that Anya is like reading their minds, bro? Like, come on. And how has like the pro spy not
Imagine
noticed
someone
that
in your
Yor
life.
is an assassin, bro? I swear to God, she has like crazy strength, crazy athletic abilities. She's not some random girl, right?
Okay. I think that's part of the comedy, though.
Yeah, that's
It's like he's the best spy in the world, and
I get it.
also,
I just find it
imagine
goofy, bro.
like
it's just goofy.
okay, imagine one of your friends could actually read your mind.
Yeah.
Like, you would never come to the conclusion that someone could read your mind because people can't read minds.
Loki, if he actually like got the
be...
same things I was thinking, I would say you're reading my mind, bro. I swear to God, I would be. Wait.
I mean, sometimes that happens though. Like a friend will be like, "Do you want to go to this place?" Oh, I do want to go to that place or something. Like a lot of times in a row, but I've never thought like we joke like, "Oh, are you reading my mind?" or something. But you would. I don't think like. At what point? What would someone have to do for you to say? Like genuinely to yourself, like logically, I've deduced that this person is reading my mind.
No, I do agree. It's kind of hard to. Now that you put it that way, yeah,
so
I agree. And plus, Anya is a child, right? Like nobody would expect a child to be.
It only seems obvious to us because we know she's reading his mind.
No, I do. I think I'm really biased here because I'm gonna be honest. I like dark stuff. I really have a thing for like dark stories. Like I only sometimes
I haven't noticed.
Yeah, like
I'm just messing with you.
yeah, guys. Like my videos, and something that's not good is that I've been making so many videos about dark mangas, right? And I just love them so much, but people don't seem to like them that much. So yeah, maybe that's why I don't like Spy X Family. I just find it like I wish it was just a tragedy, bro. I wish everyone died at the end.
No.
Like, why can't she just kill herself? Fuck, bro.
That's the worst. That's the worst take I've ever heard. You know what would be a good ending to Spy Family?
Everyone kills themselves, collective, bro.
Yeah, we just make a pact and they jumped off a bridge or
Heaven's
something.
Gate.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Nah, that's crazy.
They all drink the Kool-Aid.
Bro, I am being so criminal today. This is crazy. That's I am being criminal.
The sides have flipped.
Yep. It seems that today I am being a criminal, guys. But hey, it's a good story. I read it every day. Spy and Family. I read it like every when it drops every 2 weeks. And the fact that it drops every 2 weeks, I just find it so annoying. You know,
I need to catch up. I'm like 3 weeks behind or 3 episodes behind or something.
Sometimes it's just so random.
I super enjoy it.
Like some people go and rob on the bus. They have guns and everything. There's like literal child in the bus, like threatening the children as well. And it's just put in a comedic and goofy way. This is crazy. Like I honestly, like, sometimes I know like it's a great story, well written and everything, but it's just not my cup of tea sometimes. Like just seeing like how serious it can get, and then
I could see
like,
how
it
you feel
gets
that
too
way.
goofy for me, a bit too goofy, which I don't like it. I like when it's goofy, like for example, like I'll give you an.
You just hate when a man is dubious and his heart is filled with joy. Okay, I want to hear why you think A Silent Voice is like fantastic, or like it sounded like you were feeling that it clears.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your. I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah, because I think
so I want to hear it.
Hits A Silent Voice hits on a more personal level, like because I can really relate to that story. Like if I'm being like objective without trying to put in my bias in it, I just think that the way the animation was made, the way the story about how being deaf and impacts your life, and how bullying people, you feel the guilt of it throughout your entire, like, even when you've changed, you can feel the guilt. I didn't bully anyone, right? I don't feel the guilt about that. But like one scene that like in my head about this movie was, at the end when she actually tries to herself.
Yeah,
she tries to jump and everything. So basically, I had a friend who was a similar disability, like a girl the same age, and she actually herself, right? So this story was really like on the personal level. I think it really resonated with me because I could not relate to the fact of the bullying and everything, but I could relate on the fact of, having someone that you want to be close to. You want someone that, has been suffering alone, and she just wants to end her life. And just like that, you try to save her. Fortunately, in the movie, it actually ends in a good way, right? So which is why I actually like it. But in real life, like I really relate to the story overall. I think the animation was wonderful as well. The music, the OSTs were great. The themes of bullying are well explored, and also the themes of forgiveness is really, 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 really in depth. I really enjoyed the main character. Like, and at the beginning, you kind of understand that, you know, people don't forget about anything. People are actually complex, like in that anime, and I really enjoy the way the characters are portrayed, how they are, you know, characterized by their emotions, by how they try their best despite, you know, their insecurities, their like past traumas, and their disabilities by the main character. I don't think it's a story about disability. I think it's a story more about, you know, bullying, about acceptance.
Learning to live.
Yeah, learning to actually enjoy living despite, you know, letting the demons of the past go. So yeah, to me, it's a wonderful story. Probably one of my favorite movies, animated movies. So that's why I can't compare it to Spy and Family.
Yeah,
because
I don't disagree.
Because to me, Spy X Family is just a shonen, right? It's a good shonen. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And this hits you more on a personal level.
Like when I watched the movie with some friends, I was like, bro, we could recognize the main character to the girl that actually killed. That was actually her, and we were like, what the hell, bro? This is actually crazy. Like, this is more on a personal level.
I'm sorry that happened to you. That must have been really
life.
Intense watching experience.
It's life, I guess.
Experience.
But yeah, that's why maybe it hits more than Spy X Family.
I think I agree that from just especially from a romance perspective.
Yeah, we were talking about romance, right? The romance is not really the focus of the story, but it's really well written. Like the way, you know. Do you think it's the focus? I
think it's 50-50 because I think the
like
romance...
70, like 30 romance, maybe. 70 about the plot, about everything. It's not a straight up romance. Like, they don't end together. Yeah. They end together at the end, but not because, you know... it's more because she learned that she accepted that she could be happy. They both accepted that they could be happy. And that's the conclusion of the story. Is it this, like, when he stops seeing people, you know, that kind of shit, like, people with... with things on their face.
I have a spiel for you.
Mm-hmm.
That makes of why I like A Silent Voice specifically. I think what it points out is, like, I think we live in like a space where there are sinners but no forgiveness. You know what I mean? In life, like, things kind of stick with you.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things I've realized that's brilliant about A Silent Voice is that you have to sympathize with the bully and like the abuser to be able, like, I think he's a good person at the end. Like, I think he's someone who suffered and like created something.
And he changed
good
from what he was before, right? Like, that's what actually is good. It's
and I think in life we should forgive people as well.
Yeah,
that have hurt us.
That's a good point.
I think one thing I've realized that I tell people, just in my personal life, is like, even if people don't like deserve forgiveness, I think maybe forgiveness is not always the right word, but I think even if they don't deserve it, if you hold bitterness in your heart,
it's going to consume you, I think.
You're going to be upset. It's going to consume you, you know? And like, I'm not even saying like people should be forgiven or like any of this. It's just kind of a necessity for anything good to happen is to, you know, like, let things go and move on. And I think that both of them struggle with that and then come to the same conclusion where, you know, they kind of, you know, live for each other is really meaningful because it shows that like imperfect people can succeed and grow with each other. And so I think that's why that's the romance I see. So like, I think even though the beginning part is not a romance, it's important for the romantic framing at the end kind of contextualize the entire rest of it.
I think the fact of the two of them being together actually makes confirms the fact that these people have changed as characters, and it ends the story in a really good way. Like, to me, if they weren't together at the end and they weren't happy with each other, I would have been a bit bitter, right? I think the romance is a perfect way to conclude these two character arcs and how, you know, they've developed themselves, and the fact that they've accepted each other, and now it's a new page that turns in their life, and they will evolve together. But the romance is not that explored in the manga, right? In the anime, right? It's not that.
No.
It's not really it's not explicit. We know he has kind of a crush on her, and both this. Okay, whatever. But it's not like, I'm gonna give you an example like Kaguya-sama or like another movie. Like movies to express romance in a movie. Like I don't know if you saw. Wait, what's the name of that movie? About the thing like he goes back in time and like the thing with the movie. Wait, I need to find the name of that movie.
You mean Steins Gate?
No. That's no. Oh God. Wait, I'm gonna find it really quickly. Give me like
we can redo
your name. Oh, yeah, let's redo it.
Oh, I haven't read. Wait. Don't tell me. I'm literally about to watch this movie. I've never seen it. But I've heard it's fantastic.
Yeah, Your Name is actually.
No, it's been on my list forever.
I'm going to tell you about the plot, right? But it's a romance, like, it's basically romance with a lot of plot, but it's more focused, on romance than A Silent Voice is. There's actually explicit romance moments, and even though, it has a very big plot and a twist about it, I would say that this time it's 50-50 romance and plot, character, plot, romance. So yeah, A Silent Voice is a very good story about acceptance, about love, self-love, about not letting the past, haunt you and consume you. And it's also a good romance story in the sense that the conclusion, with the two of them being together, hints that their character development is fulfilled and they'll now be happy. So yeah, it's a good romance. But is it the best romance in the sense that, when you say the best romance, you say, oh, I just like seeing these two interact together. I just like seeing these two being so loving with each other, Romance in stories nowadays, you need to have a kiss. You need to have some interaction, right? You can't call a romance story like it's a romance manga.
I have another hot take.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you.
I've already kind of alluded to this, but like...
You hate tropes.
It's not that I hate tropes. It's that like for me to care about a romance, I have to see them doing a significant amount of other things. Like, because I have to care about them to care about their romance.
Yeah.
And like for me to care about them, I need to know that they're like people that are interesting.
Do you want a hot take that I have? A criminal take. Similar.
Yeah.
Did you watch My Dress Up Darling?
I actually... Okay, My Dress Up Darling is kind of like a guilty pleasure. Like I know it's so bad,
good,
but
bro.
like
what do you mean it's bad? It's actually peak. It's one of the best romance I've read in mangas, and I've read so many things. It's maybe I have shit taste, but you've said something. You like seeing people actually. You need to get to know what they are about before like being interested in the romance between these two. My Dress Up Darling is basically that. You get into their characters, how they like cosplaying and making like clothes and everything like that. It's pretty like it's one of these mangas, you have this,
I like that in the manga.
Maybe the anime as well was kind of showing how Gojo, his name is Gojo, it kind of confuses me. Gojo, and how he's into all these this cosplay. He's into making cosplays and making those dolls and shit. So he has a hobby, right? And I think that's what people what's lacking these days in romance.
Okay,
it's lacking.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Why I like My Dress Up Darling, but also it's written like garbage. And that might be my hot. I don't know which.
Bro, this episode is so chaotic, but I'm all in for it, bro. We're just like going all out.
Right off the bat, all day. Okay, so I like My Dress Up Darling because it is really cute, and like the cosplaying stuff is fun, and some of the characters are interesting and whatever.
She's so hot. Marion is so hot.
Gojo
bro.
Specifically.
Okay.
Okay,
sorry.
I'll say a couple things.
Yep.
First of all, it relies on that trope where like they won't admit to each other that they like each other, even though it's obvious,
I agree.
which frustrates me.
So shit.
Because that's I've never seen that happen in real life.
They gotta
ever.
sell chapters, They gotta sell those volumes, bro.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like if your tension is created arbitrarily by
even
the characters
in the manga,
just being
bro,
like,
it's worse. It's worse. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
spoil
he's just cock blocking himself.
Bro needs to release
for like 100 chapters.
He's gonna die of exhaustion before he actually confesses. I swear to God.
I'm gonna lose all my, all the fans, all the down bad boys out
No,
here.
don't say it. Please don't.
It's unnecessarily horny. It's unnecessary.
Oh, okay. That's not
really
a really
is.
bad take. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Is it that horny though? Is it? There's like worse.
It really is, bro.
There's so much
really
worse
is.
things, bro. Come on. Like, did you see Nagatoro?
Okay. If your yardstick is, like some extreme raunchy thing, fine. But I mean, just like in as media goes, it's pretty like,
But
like
Japanese
when they're measuring
media.
her,
Yeah, kind of facts, yeah.
I think I have a problem with that in Japanese media in general, to be honest with you. Like, I think sex can be used in like really good ways, but I think
It's so
there's
cringe
sort
the
of
way they're making it in mangas. It's
Yeah.
so cringe. Like, bro, I just
Also,
skipped the sex
I just-
chapters, bro. I swear to God, it just makes me cringe so hard sometimes. Like,
Yeah. I also think there's an obsession with like, is it just me, or is like being a pervert in anime or manga is like not a deal breaker for like all these characters, and that bothers me.
no,
Like some
that's a
guy
fact.
is like, oh, that's Jimmy who licks up people's skirts, but then like we're supposed to sympathize with him or something. I'm like, I don't like Jimmy. I don't want to see Jimmy.
There's
I'm
that
making up
trope, yeah.
Jimmy, but like there's 1,000 characters like this, and it just like bothers me.
No,
It just bothers me.
I completely.
I can't sympathize
And
with
I
them.
hate also
Yeah.
how this trope in romance where the characters are like so shy, so reserved, and there's this thing, and they're like in the room together, right? And they get so close, but nothing
Yeah.
happens. Like, bro, in real life they would hard. I swear to God, this is not even capping. When you're drunk, when you're in love with the other person, and you're in a room with her. Like, come on, bro! Don't lie to yourself. This is like making me sometimes like not read shonens at all. Like, I'm skipping shonens these days, like, because I can't with these tropes anymore, and they're just tiring me so much. So I have to go into more extreme stuff to actually get some fulfillment from reading these stories. I think,
Dude.
that's the thing, the issue with romance. And
Dude, sometimes I hear, what you just said to me? You said coffee isn't strong enough, so I tried heroin to wake me up.
Oh,
Like, that's what I'm
God,
hearing.
Oh God! Oh,
It's like you skipped a step.
Hey, that's exactly.
It's
that's a
like, I needed
perfect.
something
That's a
hardcore,
perfect.
man.
No, that's the thing. Romance is like drugs. It's so addictive. May it be in like real life or in like medias as well. You just read it. You keep on reading it. You get bored of the stuff that's too like mainstream. Then you go into more extreme stuff. And I think that's what I've been doing, bro. I've been getting into more like extreme stories about that have romance in it. I was just reading something like this morning. I was like, what the hell am I even doing with my life? Like, what am I reading? Like, I was like shaking.
You need it sounds like we need an intervention right now.
I sound so depressed right now.
Did you just say you woke up shaking?
No, I didn't wake up shaking.
It's literally like crack.
I was reading
I need another one,
I was
bro.
reading a lolly manga, a romance manga about a guy dating like a high schooler, bro. That shit was so wild. I was shaking while reading
I'm
it.
bonking you right now through the screen. Bonk.
Like, it's
Bonk.
This is so much. This episode is making me lose every ounce of like being relatable because I have the worst.
This is becoming like therapy.
Yeah, low-key.
Now. I'm your therapist.
Guys, romance romance mangas have been killing me. I swear to God, I just read it every time.
Something cracked in you.
Yeah. No, this is
Something cracked where it's like I can't enjoy Spike's family. Why not?
in topic because this is the most chaotic episode we've ever done. I think this is crazy.
Okay.
Okay.
I have something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I have something to say.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
And I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah.
Oh my
No, I was just trying to change the topic.
Yeah.
Okay, what I wanted to say is I wanted to go to the next topic, which is I have one more romance I really, really want to discuss with you.
Mhm.
And then we can go like rapid fire through a bunch of them.
I'd bet.
I really like Bunny Girl Senpai. Like, I really like it. Especially the movie.
Yeah.
The first one.
The movie is so good. I agree.
The movie is fantastic. And they do a lot with the tension there. And let me say, so this kind of breaks my rule for a couple different reasons. Because, okay, so the entire plot of Bunny Girl Senpai is that like 90s movie tropes happen to them through like magic that's badly explained by a scientist.
Yeah.
And that's a fantastic plot point for a romance. Because like it will just be like Freaky Friday. You're familiar with Freaky Friday, right? I'm not just okay. So Freaky Friday will happen, and then like they'll go to the science girl, and the science girl will just be like quantum entanglement.
Well, that makes
and
sense.
Everyone just nods like,
yeah, it kind of makes
and
sense.
I love that. I love that because it knows. Like some people are like, this is so stupid. I'm like, no, you're stupid because you didn't get that. Like it's not supposed to be taken seriously.
I think that you're right on that, and you know what? There is a series that I think is like Bunny Girl Senpai was inspired by that. I don't know if you heard about it. It's the Monogatari series. It's basically like
no, I haven't.
It's like light novels and anime movies as well. It's just completely crazy, and it's just so well written. But like to go back to Bunny Girl Senpai, I just find it really nice, to be honest. I don't have a lot of things to complain about it. I like both characters. I like the way they're developed. I like the way, like, I don't find anything wrong with it, to be honest. I enjoyed it, but to say that it is one of the best romance, like, let's just state that in 1 minute. Could you tell me what are your criteria like for the best romance? What makes a good romance? What makes a good romance story for you in 1 minute?
Okay, so a good romance has a couple different qualities. The first being that both characters have to be good at things, or at least somewhat like competent and like enjoyable to watch. Because when there's like a disparity in their competency levels or like how much I like them, then the relationship feels unbalanced. I think another thing is that the tension between them has to be sustained naturally and not through arbitrary means. And I think the main third thing is that you can't hold that tension for arbitrarily long amount of time. So once you've set up that tension, like it has an expiration date, and you can't like dress up darling it and wait forever. And so those are my big criteria.
I see. So like, do you need drama?
Because romance is all about tension.
So romance do you need drama really in all romance? About tension. Do you need some drama? Is that what you're saying?
I don't necessarily think you do.
Because I just love drama. I have the worst.
I love drama. like I think there's something that's like, do you like romance with drama? Yes.
Do you like tragedy in romance?
Every good romance have to have drama? Yeah. I'm not actually a huge fan of. This is going to be an area where me and you disagree.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of just like tragedy showing up and like just being there.
Being dark and edgy, you don't like that.
It's not. I don't think that's it. You know, I think I'm fine with being. I mean, Fujimoto's my favorite artist ever, right?
Yeah. Check out.
I don't think Fire Punch is a tragedy to be a tragedy. It like. Fire Punch is trying to make a point, and actually I thought the ending, like we already talked about this, but like I think the ending flubs it. Like Chainsaw Man at times is a bit of a tragedy, but like you don't get so lost in the despair that like you miss
Chainsaw
the
Man still got some light.
Message.
Yeah.
Like I know life sucks. I don't need you to tell me that. Like
maybe
you know
I like
I mean?
to be
like,
stepped on. Maybe that's it. I like to be abused. So
maybe that's why you're like are you a Makima fan by any chance?
Yeah, I hate her.
Do you enjoy?
I don't like this character at all. Nah.
But
no, I don't like.
Maybe the stepped on thing is not.
No, it's not this.
It's not the core of it. There's something else.
It's not that. I actually like enjoy tragedy in stories. Like for example, like Shakespearean tragedies. You know these things. All of these stories, like Russian stories about tragedies, I just find the way of describing despair in a way that is so creative, so like honest, so expressive. I just love it. And the way that people actually manage to make me like emotional, even though like I know life, as you said, I know life sucks. I may have like less experience and everything, right? But I do know that, you know, life can be harsh, life can be bad. But that's what I like about tragedies. I just always see the light in some tragedies, even how bad they are. They don't depress me that much. I just like find them enjoyable because they give me some insights that maybe I may not have thought about. They actually like bring some emotions that I didn't know could be possible while reading a manga, for example, you know?
I'm gonna make a take that's gonna probably drive you insane.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is probably my most unpopular take. Like,
I think today I had like the worst takes ever, so probably your take is gonna be fine.
No, this one is actually like people are not gonna like this.
Okay, say it. What is your worst take ever?
I think I think Grave of Fireflies is a garbage movie and is my least favorite anime of all time.
Your least?
Because, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
and
go
it
ahead.
and it like, you've seen the Grave of Fireflies, right?
I saw it like
it's
last
like
month
universally
again.
acclaimed. Okay, so first of all, I think all the characters are suffering for no reason. And like the movie actually doesn't make a good narrative reason why I'm watching these people suffer. I think it's like grotesque in its suffering, and to the point where I'm not even sad. I'm more just
or they're
like
just dumb,
disgusted
kind of
with the
thing.
situation.
Like
And so
sometimes
I
I'm just like, you're
understand.
dumb.
I understand that like the message is sort of about like the nature of war and its aftermath.
Yeah.
But like it's really weird messaging to me when like, am I supposed to sympathize with like Imperial Japan falling? Like war is terrible.
The Japanese people had so many war
crimes. I know
crimes.
people die. And so like I don't need to be told that war sucks. Like I know that. And making a whole movie that's just a cartoon of people suffering in war is not interesting to me. It's just like, yeah, we know. But like, if you're going to make this message, at least make it artistic.
Yeah,
this is only artistic in the sense that it is a piece of art.
Criminal take to me, because I think that Grave of the Fireflies is one of the is maybe the less ambitious work of Studio Ghibli. I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah, but everyone loves it. Everyone thinks it's like a great piece of art.
It's a good, heartbreaking, to me. It's a tragedy. It's really heartbreaking. You know, seeing a child die is always sad. I mean, if you have a heart, a soul, even if the child dies in the wrong way.
Yeah, when she died, I almost walked out because I was like, "What's the point of this movie?"
Yeah, it's sad, right?
You know, what's the point?
Oh,
like I know kids die. I know.
Yeah, but
I
you're
know
just
they
an
die,
insensitive
and it's terrible.
fuck, bro.
But like, what's
you're
the point?
You're just an insensitive fuck. That's all.
How is it insensitive?
No,
it's saying like, look, like, I know car crashes happen, right?
Yeah.
But if you made a show like a cartoon that was just a 1 hour movie of people dying in car crashes, I'd be like, dude, this isn't good. This is just like car crashes. What's the point? Are you just informing me that car crashes exist? I know they exist.
But it's not the
like,
same
actually
thing,
have
though.
a message.
It's that
but
the movie doesn't start and
it
end with
message.
the movie is not all about the death of these people. It's about how they became the way they are, how they died actually, how miserable they were, how they're untreated like shit, how they lost their mother. There is this whole part. It's not only the car crash,
Fireflies.
It's not only the car.
What is the themes of it?
The themes
is my thing. It's like what is the message of Grave of Fireflies?
To be like,
I don't know.
I think the message is pretty ambiguous. It's obviously about how war has impacted like innocent lives, innocent children's lives, but also it's like maybe like, you know, when people they score in their own team, like it kind of makes Japan looks kind of stupid and mean as well in this movie. I can't sympathize. Like I agree with you, and also there's something that adds. We know how.
Have you seen Godzilla -0?
Yeah, I did.
Or -1?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that does it 10 times better. Like it actually uses an allegory to explain how people turn on each other and how you have to move forward.
Is it a
Grave of Fireflies?
Is it a Roman story?
Doesn't do?
It's Grave of Fireflies.
No. I was just explaining my suffering.
God, we're going so off topic.
We got off track.
Oh my! You know what? It's okay.
We were talking about Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Just I'm gonna explain it to you really quickly. The two of us had like maybe the worst week ever. We are completely tired, depressed, and we are making this thing about Romans to actually like lighten up the mood, you know, kind of shit. And we can't keep ourselves from dragging us down into the deep like pits of despair each time we start talking about something depressing. So yeah, this episode will be chaotic.
It's time to talk about.
We need to talk about something.
My favorite romance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good night, Poon Poon. Good night, Poon Poon. No, I'm just kidding.
Loki, it's such a good romance. It's such a good romance, and the fact that it's so bad, you know, it's really well written though. It's so well written.
I can't do this right now.
I can't.
Wait. Actually, okay, I have a good segue back on track.
Okay.
We both like Bunny Girl Senpai because it's fun, it's tropey, it's feel good. It's not the best ever, but I'm just going through the list of like some of my favorites. Okay, here's another one. My favorite from Ghibli, my favorite romance from Ghibli is actually Up on Poppy Hill.
Yeah,
which I actually think
it's cute.
It's just cute, and it actually does a lot more about like I think it says a lot more culturally about Japan than, or more meaningfully than Grave of Fireflies does.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to say that, like, I still love Ghibli. I think they make great movies. I just don't think that one was a good one. But this romance and the twist, okay, if you haven't seen the movie, you know, I understand you can skip this part. You've seen it as well, right?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Like the the twist is like that they're not, they think they find out they like each other, and then they think they find out that they're siblings, and then they realize they're not siblings, thus saving the romance, and that actually their fates were intertwined in like this familial way with that connects to the army and their fathers, right?
Mhm.
And so I think that's like a really beautiful way to go about things,
Yeah.
and talking about rebuilding families and like how we recover from these things, and how like good things can
Yeah.
emerge from, you know, tragedies and stuff like that. So I think like there's an example of how like romance can handle those themes in a way that I find cute and endearing, but still has that backdrop of, you know, implied tragedy.
Okay. Yeah, I won't say it's my favorite story, but it's definitely one of like it's one that I like. I like to watch it with my friends. They're actually women. They actually love this movie for a reason. I don't know why. They love this movie. Like all of my guy friends, they don't actually like it. They find it like a bit too cute. I don't know, but I actually like it, to be honest. I find it like,
I love this movie, yeah.
yeah, it's a wonderful movie. And Studio Ghibli had like really good romance stories, but they also had really bad ones. Like, I don't know if you saw Ocean Waves, like by Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
It's pretty like mediocre. I think like the message of it is like it's so obvious. Okay, yeah, whatever. But it's just like a bit shitty. I know. Like, there's not a lot to say about it, so it's a bit hit or miss with Studio Ghibli. You see what I mean? I don't think that romance is the
Yeah.
main
No,
point of
you're
their
right.
stories, right? It's more about the atmosphere, the
No.
themes, and everything like
It's
that.
eclectic, like fantastic
Yeah,
elements.
it's
I
like
think, that
almost
they do
like
the best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Their movies is like
Okay.
ambient sounds kind of things, you know. It's just like everything happening. It's a theme. It's
Yeah,
a vibe.
that's actually a really good analogy.
It's a vibe, you know.
Ambient sounds. Yeah.
Okay, now let's
Okay,
let's
I have something to
go
do
ahead.
for you.
What you do?
I have 1 minute rapid fire. I want you to go. These are some of. I'm going to go over some of my least favorite romances
bet.
right now.
Oh my
Or
god.
romances I think that are too tropey.
Okay.
And I want you to, in like one sentence, tell me how you feel about them.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, Toradora is the first one.
A bit dumb.
I agree. I agree. We agree on the. Okay, My Little Monster is another one I don't like.
Yeah, it's mediocre to me. Keep going.
How about Shikimori is not just a cutie?
It's low-key trash. The designs are cool though.
And last one, let's do Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop, which was the Netflix one.
I don't know, bro. Okay, let's do it again.
Because those are my.
With more mainstream stuff.
Those are my.
I
think those are my 4 least favorite. I don't know what more mainstream I have on this list. Oh, actually, you know, one I wanted to talk about. So I just wanted to go through my bottom just to like, because I don't really want to talk long about them. I think Toradora is boring, tropey trash. I think My Little Monster is boring, tropey trash. I think Shikimori is not just a cutie, is boring. Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop is cute at times, but sort of inoffensive, and you know, it feels like a B-tier kids movie. Okay,
Yes.
Your Lie in April. You like tragedy.
Oh my god,
you feel
need
about
to
this one?
stop with this shit. I'm gonna cry. It's wonderful, bro. I love it. I read it every night before sleeping, Loki. No, it's amazing. To me, it's just goated. I don't know. What do you think about it? Go ahead, break my heart, bro.
I actually do really like this.
Let's go.
And I'll tell you why. Because I really liked the fact that she was kind of an asshole at the end. Because
She didn't.
and it's understandable.
Yeah.
But like there's this thing in like manga and anime where like characters going through hard things have to act with perfect grace, and even though they're suffering, like they're acting, you know, I'm going to go out like gracefully. Like you can really tell in this that she's struggling with her mortality
Mhm.
or her disease,
Yeah.
and that she comes like parts of her come out that were in his mother, and you see the comparisons to her, but you can still sympathize with her as she is a much, much better person, right? But you can see that like desperation and that wanting to do more for him, even though she's running out of time
Yeah.
and really loves him.
Yeah.
And so I think that is really good that they do that, because I'm like, I'm glad that she doesn't just like take her death with grace.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and she actually becomes a bit
she actually
selfish at
deals with
the
it.
end, and it shows the humanity, like, and the character and the complexity of human beings as well. What would you do if you consider the fact that you will die, and really soon you're terminally ill? You know, this kind of things. It's a really
Especially at her age. You know?
Young like that. Yeah, this is, and really similar to that. I have a really similar Yuri manga. For those who don't know what Yuri is basically lesbian stories, girl lovers.
Go off.
Yep. So I have the name just with me. The Summer You Were There. So it's an award-winning Yuri manga about a girl that has been kind of a bully back in middle school and like a bit earlier, and she meets this girl. And there's this whole relationship between the two. The girl is kind of weird because she knows every passion of the main character called Shizuku, right? And it has kind of a tragic ending. I won't spoil too much, but it's a must read. And like, to me, it's on the same level as July and April. Like, it's really well written, and it could get an anime adaptation, by the way. So I'll put the link in the description. Go read that one. It's really nice.
Yeah, I haven't read this, but you know, you're making a good pitch right now, and I kind of want to check it out.
It's really nice. It's
And
Yuri,
I'm sure
though. I don't
like
know.
a lot of people listening
Quickly,
are gonna check it
do you
out.
mind when it's like girl lovers or like boy lovers mangas? Like,
I've never read. It's hard for me to say because like I'm not familiar with the tropes of it or anything. Like I've just never like dived into that. I feel like it's not very. It doesn't seem. I don't know how mainstream it is. Like I've never seen like someone recommend something like that to me. I don't know if that's just my circles,
no,
but
it's
usually
not,
I read stuff based on what people
it's not
recommend.
Really, it's not really mainstream, to be honest. Like, it's still, even in Japan, it's kind of
I don't have any
controversial.
problem with like gay characters and stories, of course. Like, you know, like I'm totally fine with that. If that's the story you want to make, like go ahead. I'd love to see creations like that.
As long as it's well written, yeah.
So I'm open to trying stuff out. I just haven't been until I met you. No one's ever recommended something to me of that nature. Of that nature. That sounds like a politician response. Of this nature, you know. But yeah, no, I definitely want to check it out because like I can't even say anything about it because I just literally have no experience with it.
Okay, then let me do something now that we've talked about all of these things. Of course, this one was a bit more of a chaotic episode, right? We've been doing a bit of, because romance is such a broad subject. We would do 2 hours if we wanted to talk about it in details, right? But like in 1 minute, Criminal, can you give me your 10 favorite mangas, your 5 favorite mangas to start with? And if you can give me more, romance mangas, of course. If you can give me more, then you can do it, okay? What's your 5 favorite romance mangas and animes in general?
Oh, this is so hard. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna go Steins Gate is gonna be up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go Spy Family and let's just go no particular order.
Yes.
Love is War, Silent Voice, and I gotta throw a fun one in there because I know these are all like I could throw Your Lie in April. I think I'm gonna go with Bunny Girl Senpai the movie as my 5th, as my fun pick. So those are like the 5 biggest that I just dropped my mic. My 5 biggest that I really enjoy.
Okay, that's actually not that bad, bro. I was expecting criminal takes here.
It's not as criminal.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be more criminal today. I'm gonna be called criminal.
Okay, you go your 5. You got 1 minute.
Okay, Bloom Into You, a lesbian story. Tomorrow I Will Be Someone's Girlfriend, which is a manga about girls prostituting themselves. The Summer You Were There, which is the manga I just recommended. Love is War, to be a bit more mainstream. And did I say 5? Or is there a last one? A last one?
Yeah. I think you're at 4. Do one more.
One more. Oh, that's hard. You know what? A Silent Voice, just because I can. Like, it's really hitting on a personal level.
The 2 I know were good. I don't know about. I like how you just threw in there, dude. You really have gone off the deep end. You know, I'm gonna have to guys, there's not going to be an episode for another month. I'm checking him into the psycho ward.
Guys, I'm going crazy these days.
Sort him out.
Crazy.
He's going crazy.
I'm on the
talking
caffeine,
to, you know.
I haven't slept in days, guys.
The voices are talking to him.
No, but I think we kind of now have an idea of how different our like tastes in mangas, animes, or in general, right? Because something that I've noticed is that we do like Fujimoto, Chainsaw Man, whatever. But what we're talking about right now is just how different our tastes are. I carry like tragedy a lot more than you do, which is interesting to be honest, because like I always like chose not to read too many of those mainstream shonens because they don't hit the same that as like tragedy does. And you can see that in my top 5, there's always tragedy in there. Like top 5 is mostly tragedy, apart from like Love is War. But the rest of it is pretty much like tragic stories, which we've discussed about it. And obviously, I don't think anyone is gonna agree with me. Maybe some people. It's not that I'm being edgy in any way. You know, it's just like my cup of tea in stories. I do enjoy mainstream stuff as well. But, you know, romance is a really broad, vast subject that has so many subgenres, and it's not always the case where a story has its main focus on romance. So you don't always, you know, can't define a story as being mainly romance. So, you know, we have discussions about this. This episode is obviously going to be a bit more disorganized because we're going off our personal taste. The point of it is, you guys, if you want to let us know what are your favorite romance and why, please do so. And also, yeah, I think we've talked about anything. Is there anything you'd want to add to this episode with hitting the 1 hour mark?
No, I think that's good for me. Yeah, this episode was unhinged.
Yeah,
it was a good time. I actually had a lot of fun.
For the first time, I think, like, you won't see me this unhinged again on my takes. Like, we'll do the shorts for this episode, right? And we'll have some of the weirdest thing, like my top 5 at some point. It's about girls prostituting themselves. Oh God, like this sounds so wrong.
Dude, I feel like we're gonna have to censor some of the words in this episode so we don't get
Don't worry,
flagged.
I'm used to it. I'll censor it for you.
Okay.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this very unhinged
thank you so
episode. This is the
much.
most unhinged we're gonna get, I think. Because the rest of it is going to be a
I
bit
think
more,
it
you know,
is.
grounded. But
I think romance
is unhinged.
is like
itself, you know.
it's like your neuron activation kind of thing.
I got too many traumas
It's like the dark pit
in real
we
life
found.
of romance, bro. It's bad. Bro.
Yeah.
It's bad. Let's not talk about it.
All right, let's cut it there.
Okay,
and
thanks
you guys
for
have a
watching,
great
guys.
time, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Like, subscribe.